Hello everybody, Donline Dude here. So there's been a lot of casting announcements for the 50th anniversary special of Doctor Who, which is due to air sometime in November, I think. So I thought to myself, I have to do a video talking about this, really. I already did a video where I talked about the cast of Ninja Turtles. And it's kind of funny that only a few days after I did that, then the first announcements for this special started hitting. So I just took that as a sign to say, yeah, you should do a video talking about this as well. I had been planning to do this a few days earlier, but yeah, like I said, there's been a lot more. There's been some more casting announcements, so I wanted to take the time to process a few more of them before I made the video. So anyway, I'll move on to the first announcement: the news that David Tennant and Billie Piper are going to be reprising their roles as the 10th Doctor and Rose Tyler, respectively, of course. I can't even begin to describe how pleased I am to hear this. I'm beyond ecstatic right now. Because David Tennant is my favourite incarnation of the Doctor, and Rose Tyler is my favourite companion. As Stan Lee says, "Nuff said." Yeah. So I'll talk more about them in a bit, but anyway, moving on. Next, there is the news that John Hurt is going to be playing an unknown role in the special. John Hurt, I think, is a great actor. He's fantastic. He has such a powerful voice, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Stephen Moffat puts his talents to use, because I'm hoping he gives him a very good role, because there's been some times where it feels like these big actors are cast in Doctor Who, and they just play completely superfluous roles to everything, because you just have to watch the Vincent and the Doctor to see what I'm talking about with Bill Nye. He deserved a much better role than what he got. So yeah, John Hurt was actually announced at the same time, by the way, as David Tennant and Billie Piper, but his casting was quite overshadowed, I think, by David and Billie's casting, because those two are so important to the Doctor Who community. So I just thought that was a little bit funny. Yeah. So there was an announcement later on in the week of Joanna Page joining the special, and this was confirmed by the BBC posting two pictures of the cast doing the read through for the script. The first picture was just David and Matt, and I thought it was very funny seeing the two of them together, like with the Doctor Who scripts, and that David is regrowing his Doctor Who sideburns. Yay! So the second picture had Jenna-Louise Coleman, and it also had Joanna Page in there. And Joanna Page is most known for being in Gavin and Stacey, which I love. I think Gavin and Stacey is really funny. As is Joanna Page. She's a great actress. I mean, she's part of what made that series work so well. Really, she was just so funny. But she can also do the drama very well as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing her in the special, especially if she's playing who I think she's playing. So last of all, there is Gemma Redgrave as Kate Stewart, who is the head of unit. If you don't know what unit is, they're sort of like Doctor Who's version of S.H.I.E.L.D., sort of. But anyway, unit dates as far back as the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton. So using unit, I think, is a real good way of acknowledging how the immense history of Doctor Who. So yeah, I'm really pleased that unit are appearing in this. But also, the character of Kate Stewart, she's also the daughter of Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, who again, he used to run Unit, and again, he dates as far back as the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton. He can't be here because the actor Nicholas Courtney passed away a couple of years ago, very sadly. But again, this is a great way of acknowledging such a popular character in the show's history. He got a lovely tribute in the episode "The Wedding of River Song," and that was lovely. But it's also nice to see him getting a tribute here, especially since it's the 50th anniversary. So that's all the actors, I think. Yeah, I've gone through all of them. But before I talk about the rumors that are surrounding the episode and what some of the filming pictures seem to indicate, I just want to go back to David and Billy because I sort of skipped over them. Which wasn't my intention. So the thing is, these two, I'm really pleased to see them again because they just brought such a great energy to both of their roles, and they had such great chemistry. David, in particular, he was able to make even the subpar episodes watchable just simply by his performance. That's what made him such a great Doctor. And you just have to watch him in interviews how much he threw himself into the role, because there are traits of his own personality that are clearly in this role. He's sort of like the Robert Downey Jr. of the Doctor actors, because his personality as the Doctor is so similar to his own personality. It's just fantastic to watch, really. And Rose, of course, Billie Piper, again, she's a fantastic actress, and the emotion she displayed whilst playing the role of Rose Tyler is just great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing those two again. I'm beyond looking forward. I'm just ecstatic. So yeah, that's the cast all out of the way. So now I'm going to talk about, like I said, some of the rumors that are surrounding the special, like what directions the plot will take, because this is Stephen Moffat writing, and he's known for very complex, timey-wimey, to quote the episode Blink, plots. So there have been some pictures taken of the actors filming, and there was some images taken of David Tennant and Joanna Page filming. There were three things that were interesting to me. Okay. There was a Zygon there. The Zygons are a classic Fourth Doctor enemy, and they're also David Tennant's favourite monster of Doctor Who. So yeah, that's something tells me they actually might have just used that to lure him back. Like, oh David, guess what? We're going to be using Zygons in the 50th anniversary special. All right then. Okay, that was my attempt at a Scottish accent. Sorry, don't know where that came from. But anyway. So the second thing, sorry, the Scottish accent thing just sort of threw me off. But anyway, the second thing was that David Tennant is wearing his brown and pinstriped Doctor Who outfit. You couldn't completely see it because he was wearing a coat to keep himself warm, but you could see the trousers were brown and pinstriped very clearly. And that seems to be a confirmation that he is playing the actual 10th Doctor, because if you've watched the fourth series finale, Journey's End, you'll know that there was another version of the 10th Doctor created that had a human heart, and he also was half Catherine Tate. You'll have to watch the episode to understand how that worked. And at the end of that episode, he was put into the parallel reality where Rose Tyler had been. Because the Doctor said that Rose needed to look after this human Doctor and help make him better, make him a better person, as she did for him when he was the 9th Doctor. Which I kind of like that, but to be honest, it was a bit of a cop-out, really, because it was a way of Russell T Davies resolving that storyline without bringing her back in. Because let's face it, if they had got Billy back, it wouldn't have been there wouldn't have been this whole thing with the human Doctor. The human Doctor was just simply a contrivance so they wouldn't have to bring Rose back for the specials. So yeah, I'm glad that they're not using the human Doctor. It's a very good way of bringing him back, but I want to see the real Doctor, because again, that's going to feel like a cop out if we don't see him. But also, so Joanna Page's outfit is very Elizabethan in its design, and this seems to suggest that she is playing Elizabeth I. Because there's a bit of a history between the Doctor and Elizabeth I in the recent series of the programme. Because in the Shakespeare Code, I think that's what it's called, Queen Elizabeth I appears at the end and declares and says the Doctor is her sworn enemy. But the Doctor hasn't met her yet. So, yeah. In the End of Time Part 1, where he arrives on the planet and he says, "Oh, I didn't come straight here. I travelled about, did this and that." He mentions that he got married to Elizabeth I. Well, he doesn't outright say it, but you can kind of gather from what he says that he did get married to Elizabeth I. And there's been a lot of references that thanks to him, she's no longer called the Virgin Queen, if you know what I mean. So again, this seems to mean that the Doctor we're seeing here is the one is after Journey's End, is during a very vulnerable point at his life, because he knows that he's going to die, that he's going to at least regenerate, because he was told a prophecy that his song was going to be ending, which he interpreted as "you're going to die," and he's very vulnerable at the moment, and I think that's a very interesting point in his life. And it would be nice to see, since Rose is here, it would be nice to see the Doctor have some kind of closure with that whole story with Rose. It would be nice for us as well, for the fans, because I don't think I'm the only fan who felt cheated by what happened in Journey's End. I think there are a lot of fans who don't like it, and I think this is Stephen Moffat's way of addressing that and resolving that finally. Because Stephen Moffat has actually said that this story is about looking backwards and about looking forwards at the same time. And I think that's also why David seems to be the only other Doctor who's come back, because the multi-Doctor story has become a bit of a staple unofficially of the anniversary specials, because there was the 3 Doctors special for the 10th anniversary, and there was the 5 Doctors special for the 25th anniversary. So it seems like Stephen Moffat is trying to balance the fan service with an actual story here, and I really like that. So yeah, I'm very interested to see how he implements the Doctor and Rose into this story. I'm very interested to see who the villain is, because even though the Zygons are here, I don't think they are the main villain. I think it's going to be a slightly grander villain. It might even be Richard E. Grant's Great Intelligence. He's technically a classic villain, but he's become more of a prominent threat in recent episodes. So yeah, that would be very interesting to see Richard E. Grant be the main villain for the 50th anniversary special. So yeah, there we go. That's my opinions on the cast and the potential story for the 50th anniversary special of Doctor Who. Feel free to comment, because I'd love to hear other people's thoughts on this. It's a very interesting time for Doctor Who, and yeah, I hope the series does well. I'm hoping to get my reviews of the series out on time, unlike last year. So yeah, thank you for listening, everybody.